everybody. My name is William. I am the Ramblin' Man. This is my review for the 1952 classic Singin' in the Rain. I just watched it for the very first time, and I gotta say, I absolutely loved it. It was a fun time, but I'll get into that. Don't forget to hit the follow button down below, or subscribe button. I'm sorry, been on TikTok for way too long. Hit the subscribe. Hit me up in the comments, hit the like button, all that good mess. It really helps out in the algorithm to boost my video and get me out to more folks. So if you want to see more of this content, interact. All right, so the 1952 classic Singin' in the Rain stars Gene Kelly, Donald O'Connor, Debbie Reynolds, and Gene Hagen. These four characters in this film are absolutely phenomenal. I loved every single one of them, even though I hated one of them by the end, but that's beside the point. We're gonna be grading this film on 5 points: story, acting, music, visuals, and because it's a classic, we're gonna go modern relevant. All right, so first up is story. I love the story in this film. In case you don't know, essentially the story of this film is a silent movie actor who is progressing over into what they called talkies back in the day, or modern motion picture. And it's about the story of how the modern motion picture, the talkies, kind of either made a star or broke a star from the old school silent film. And it's kind of I've heard it called a hilarious parody of itself. I just think it brings some good fun and humor into a historically interesting situation. And for me, if the movie has some historical significance, I love it, because then I can go research on my own about the history of it, and it just gives that much more depth to the film to me. So for me, that was one of the selling points when I watched this film. It hooked me from the word go. Gene Kelly is the starring man of starring men. At the time this movie came out, he was the guy in Hollywood. Gene Kelly, his charisma, his singing ability, his dancing ability, he was the trifecta. And watching this movie, you could see why. The characters are believable within the context of the film. There wasn't one point where I was just like, I don't believe that character would do that, or that sort of thing. Every part of these characters was fleshed out, and it just made me enjoy it that much more. There wasn't too many lulls in this story where I was like, I'm bored. This was actually a fun film to watch. And again, it tied into the history of what it was trying to tell to the actual real world history, and that was just a plus. The story for me is a 9 out of 10. Next is acting. Like I said before, this movie four main stars were big giants of the time, right? Okay, maybe 3 out of the 4 were. I'm not so sure about Donald O'Connor. But he plays Cosmo Brown. Gene Kelly, who plays Don Lockwood in this film, that best friend. This movie is the first major starring role for Debbie Reynolds, who, if you don't know, is the mother of Carrie Fisher. And then it also starred Gene Hagen as Lena Lamont, who, I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, who you end up thinking very differently of towards the end, or maybe it might enhance what you thought about her from the get-go. But from the very first word on this film, from these two, from the opening, you get Kelly's Lockwood and Hagen's Lamont. They're getting out of the car, and they've got this whole freaking Hollywood red carpet thing going on, and you just believe these characters are these big actors, and Kelly's got the charisma, and Hagen's got this, lovesick actress look on her face, and you're supposed to believe that they're like actually a real couple, this, that, or the other thing. But as the movie progresses, you learn it's not so much the case. And then as the movie progresses forward, you get Gene Kelly's Lockwood meeting Reynolds' Kathy character, and then Donald O'Connor's Cosmo Brown is just an amazing best friend to him. Is just hilarious. And these three, Reynolds, Connor, and Kelly, are just fun to watch. The musical number where they're doing Good Morning I've watched that a couple times since the very first time, and it gets better every time. But the acting is absolutely amazing. Those three together where it's just magic. And for me, the acting is a 9 out of 10. So let's talk about the music, which nothing really needs to be said. The musical numbers are broken up by lengthy, story. So it wasn't like musical number, a little bit of dialogue, musical number. This was a story film where the music absolutely enhanced the story. It told even more of the story through the music instead of, just randomly throwing music in there, which is what I like in a musical. The music here, it hits, right? The music, like I said, makes the film even better. It adds to the story through the song, and even the background music, the emotional music is top notch here. It just hit on every point and just made you feel even more, added more depth to the story. So music is absolutely a 10 out of 10, honestly. Next up is visuals. The visuals were pretty good, and they still hold up for the time this movie was made. The set pieces were believable. They were fantastic. There was one or two areas where I could tell there was stuff on, sticks, like some of the car scene. There was one where there was a trolley on the road, and the cars were driving by, and you could tell that the car they were riding in was actually on a stick next to the trolley because so especially the one where Gene Kelly gets on top of the car and on top of the trolley, that was kind of obvious, but then again, that's from someone who knows what he's looking for. So, but a little nitpick. I'm getting picky here. The camera work was top notch. There was no shakiness. There was no questionable like why did they do that. Every movement here had a purpose. Every focal point had a story payoff, and the costumes absolutely were fantastic, majestic, and mesmerizing, and fit the time period well. So, and just they also even helped to tell the story. So for me, the visuals are definitely a 9 out of 10. Modern relevance. All right, so watching a classic film, I gotta ask myself while I'm watching it, is there any modern relevance to this? Does it hold up what they were trying to do when they filmed it versus watching it today? And I gotta say, I think the story absolutely holds up in the fact that it tells a historical story about going from silent films into talkie motion pictures. I think some of the dynamics between the characters still hold up as well. We see it in modern day as well, the best friend and the best friends trying to make it in Hollywood, and the aren't they dynamic between Gene Kelly and Gene Hagen's characters, and then Gene Kelly's character falling in love with Debbie Reynolds' character. I think there's a lot of modern sensibilities here, even down to the supporting character of Millard Mitchell's studio head character, Simpson, where he's battling what they should do versus what the supporters of the studio want him to do. So I think it does have a lot of modern relevancy. I think some of it can be a little dated given the fact that there's been 60 years between the two, and we don't think some of the things that they thought back then. But there's no real cringy moments of dialogue where we would think, ooh, well, that wouldn't be said today, or at least I didn't see it. So modern relevance is a 7 out of 10 for me. Singin' in the Rain is absolutely an 8 out of 10 film. Actually, the film is a 9 out of 10 for me. I'm gonna round up. It's a 9 out of 10. Nothing's ever perfect, so that makes sense. But anyway, that's my thoughts and reviews. I think Singin' in the Rain is something that every movie buff should watch. It's absolutely a wonderful, fun time. You'll love the music. You'll love the characters. Outside of that, let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you agree with me, hit the like button. If you didn't agree with me, hit the like button, or don't hit the like button and let me know in the comments what you thought, and we'll have a conversation. Until next time, y'all, my name is William. I am the Ramble Man. Happy viewing. Have a good one.